Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Jonathan Harmon with the J. Harmon Home Team of Keller Williams, here with my friend Taylor Loyal with Second Harvest Food Bank. And we're outside of Just Love Coffee. It's such a pretty day, and we've had the rain, so it felt good to get out in the sunshine a little bit. But the downside is that I'm going to be squinting a lot and maybe doing this, so I do apologize for that in advance. But anyway, so I've known Taylor for a little while. We're in Rotary together, like a lot of the folks that I talk to on this Coffee Talk show program, whatever the crap it's called. Anyway,
how did you pronounce it to me?
Coffee Talk, from Saturday Night Live. Totally pirated that one. But anyway, it's that's not gonna work, man. I can't see anything. That's all right. I'll just sit back. How about that?
Getting pretty sunny.
So if you have any questions for Taylor or for me, just type them in there. We'll do our best to see the comments, and we'll go from there. So Taylor, tell me about Second Harvest. What is your role with Second Harvest?
So I am the donor relationships manager for Second Harvest, and I focus on Rutherford County and then about 14 other counties the new Rutherford County facility serves. Total, we serve 46 counties, but I'm specifically focused on that area.
Okay. What does that mean, donor relations? Like monetary donors, food donors?
Yeah, so monetary donors. So I work with folks in our community who recognize that even though we live in a really prosperous time, in a really prosperous community, there's still a lot of people, specifically in Rutherford County, that are struggling. You go into more in the inner city, you go out into the rural areas, you might even drive past folks every day that you see that you don't realize are struggling. And so what I do is I work with people who recognize that those people need help to either temporarily to get out of a bad situation, or they might have more chronic hunger that they're gonna need help with for the rest of their life. And so I work with them on kind of showing them the impact of their gifts. Every dollar that's donated to Second Harvest allows us to provide 4 meals.
Wow.
And so a lot of it is just...
What's a meal look like when you say that?
Well, it could be anything. It could, we work with a lot of different partner agencies to get food out to them. And so really it's just a way to quantify...
Like food pyramid type meal, like a protein, a veggie,
and those kind of things. But it's not like a Meals on Wheels type thing where you're getting a specific set
right.
Of
it's
things.
food to prepare.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Well, not really, because we have a lot of different types of food that goes out. So it could be the typical things you think of when you think of a food bank, like canned goods, peanut butter, and stuff like that. But also now, about 30 to 35% of the food that we distribute is fresh produce. So we work with a lot of farmers and grocery stores and places like that to get fresh produce out to people.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
In my role, I'm just basically explaining that to either donors who already support us and don't just want more information about how we work, or prospective donors, people that want to help, and showing them the impact that they can have in the community.
Sure. So help me here, and this is an area I'll just admit it, I'm completely ignorant. Okay. Growing up, we always had enough. My parents had jobs, and how does somebody get to the point where they need your services? And I know there's gazillions of answers for that, right? I mean, typically, and again, purely my ignorance, so educate me, right?
Yeah.
I typically think of the hunger issue as homeless people, but that's not entirely accurate, is it?
That's really not. I mean, there is a homeless issue in Rutherford County,
Sure.
And that issue is being addressed by organizations like Coal Patrol and Journey Home, and some really good organizations that are working to help them. But the people that we see, homelessness is really probably a single-digit percentage of the people that we help.
Okay.
So you ask, like, how does somebody wind up in that situation? And you're right, there are a gazillion answers. So I'll just start maybe
Broad
with
stroke.
a lot of what we see is kids. So kids are, you and I were fortunate enough to be good to be born into families where we didn't have to worry about what we were going to eat. A lot of kids are not that fortunate. So we literally have kids in this community who the last good meal for the week that they get is on Friday at lunch, and then they don't know what they're going to eat until they come back on Monday morning for breakfast.
Wow.
And so what we do is we have a program called our backpack program, where we actually take about a freezer, like a freezer bag, like Ziploc bag, and fill it with food. It's got two breakfasts, 2 lunches, 2 snacks, 2 milks, all fit, like shelf-stable milk fit in this bag. And we work with guidance counselors and teachers and principals to identify those kids that are basically showing up on Monday morning, and you can tell they haven't had much, either haven't had anything or haven't had much to eat over the weekend.
Right.
So they slide those bags into their backpacks over the weekend. That helps the kids get through the weekend. A cool byproduct of that is we did a study a while back and realized that 88% of the kids in that program are better behaved in class, and 82% of the kids in that program performed better academically.
Wow.
So it's just a testament to, it's not just about filling. At Second Harvest, our mission is to feed hungry people and work to solve hunger issues in the community. So that's really getting into that second part of the mission.
Well, that's in education. I studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the survival. That's the base need for everybody. So that's pretty amazing.
If you don't have that, you really can't. I always ask people, like when I'm speaking somewhere, I always say, like, okay, I want everybody to just imagine right now that you're hungry. What do you feel like? And it's always, I'm angry, I'm lonely, or angry, tired, irritable, grumpy, all these things. So if you imagine you're a 7-year-old sitting in class trying to pay attention.
You're already trying to figure out your own emotions.
Yeah, exactly. But so that's one end of the scale. The other end is we work with a lot of seniors. So people who, I met a guy maybe 6 weeks ago who was a veteran. He had to have been in his 70s, I would guess. And I said, I just want to thank you for your service. I appreciate you serving our country. And he said, I'd go back and do it again in a minute. He said, but I've worked hard my whole life, played by the rules, served my country, but Social Security doesn't pay enough, so I need you guys to help me.
A supplement, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of the seniors that we serve, their Social Security is running out halfway through the month, and then they don't have enough money to get through the rest of the month to go buy groceries. Or it's the situation where you're deciding between prescriptions or groceries.
Yeah.
And so then in between that is you got single moms that are struggling. You got
working 2 jobs or whatever.
Exactly. You got people who just lost a job. People who just were diagnosed with an illness and now their medical bills are stacking up. You've got people going through a divorce or any sort of life-changing that typically, what I've seen in my experience with Second Harvest, is more of a temporary kind of thing. But if we can get them enough food to get them through the next week or 2 and then get back on their feet, then they're going to be all right. We might never hear from them again until they come to volunteer to help out and give
Pay
back.
it forward. Yeah. So does somebody, if they find themselves in a situation where they need that supplement, they need that extra little hand up, if you will, do they just show up at your office? I mean, do they have to apply? Do they have to prove need? What's the process?
That's a good question. So what we do at Second Harvest is we actually work with partner agencies. So we work with about 480, 490 partner agencies in our 46 county service area. And that's places like Greenhouse Ministries, where I was over the weekend. Salvation Army, domestic violence shelter, a lot of churches that we work with. In Rutherford County, we work with about 25 different partner agencies like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we collect food on a large scale. We're out with tractor trailers picking up food from grocery stores or farmers or food manufacturers, places like that. Bring it to our warehouse. Volunteers sort that food, and then that food goes out to those partner agencies. So if somebody showed up at our door and said, "Hey, I'm hungry, I need food," we'd get them some food, but that's not really our purpose. Our purpose is to collect that food and then get it to the Greenhouse Ministries or the domestic violence shelter or Salvation Army, those kind of places. Journey Home that I mentioned, they actually cook meals there.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott Foster there was recently telling me that he said, you know, if it wasn't for Second Harvest, we wouldn't be able to have meat at our meals. But because we can get meat from you guys, we can serve that, you know, and it provides a much more balanced meal.
So did those organizations pay you guys for the food, or is it you literally just give it to the organizations that do?
So there's kind of a variety of ways. So like if at your office you said, "Hey, we want to do a canned food drive," right? Because you're in Rutherford County, that food would stay in Rutherford County. So what we would probably do, we might come pick it up from you and get it out to Greenhouse Ministries or something like that, but what we would probably do is we would find our partner agency that's closest to you, and we'd just connect you. They could go over and pick up that food and
cut the middleman.
Yeah, exactly. There'd be no cost for that. What we do have sometimes is what we call a shared maintenance fee, because we have those costs associated with everything that we do, but
trucks and warehouses.
It's literally like pennies on the dollar of what somebody would pay to go buy that food at a grocery store.
And an organization, I assume, has to be a solvent 501c3, right. All of that stuff. And
yeah, and we actually have people on staff there that their whole job is to work with those partner agencies. So they're going out, checking on them, make sure they have everything that they need. Get their order, you know, their orders of food out to them, but also checking in on them, making sure that the food's stored properly and things like that. But yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Sounds like a pretty good operation. So how long have you been with Second Harvest?
I've been with Second Harvest since February of 2015.
Okay.
So about 3.5 years.
Awesome. And what did you do before that?
Before that, I was the general manager of the Daily News Journal, where I had worked for a little over 8 years. And it's actually what brought me to Rutherford County.
Yeah. So how does a news guy go to that? How did that happen? How did that transition happen?
I still don't quite understand how it worked. You know, I went to college to, don't beat me up, but I went to Western Kentucky University.
Oh, man.
Which has a great...
all right, this interview's over. No.
Has a great print journalism program. And
they would be a little behind the times.
Actually, so it's a funny story. When I was in college, we were still, I graduated in 2002. We were still taking pictures with like 35mm cameras, developing the film in a dark room.
Yeah.
You know, laying out the newspaper on a big table with X-Acto knives and you know, pins and stuff. So
learning old school, so the computer just makes it easier.
But it also shows how rapidly the whole industry changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Daily News Journal brought me to Rutherford County, but I think what happened after I got to Rutherford County is I just fell in love with this community.
Yeah. It's easy to do.
Yeah, it's really easy to do, especially when your job is to learn as much as you possibly can about the community.
Plug into everything. Yeah.
So I was out learning everything I could, at first specifically in Smyrna, and then really Murfreesboro and all of Rutherford County. And just the more I learned, the more I liked about this community. And I had gotten to a point in my career where I just kind of realized, like, at a certain point, there's going to be a crossroad, and I'm either going to have to leave the community to stay with the company, or I'm going to leave the company to stay with the community. In the 8 years I was at the D&J, I was the 1, 2, 3. If you count interim, I was the 5th general manager.
Wow.
So in 8 years. So I kind of realized, like, as much as it would have been nice to stay in that role for a long, long time. Like, I just felt like I was gonna either go somewhere else and do something else, or I needed to find a way to stay in this community. And through Smyrna Rotary, where we're members, I've been a member for, I guess, 11 years. We do Meals on Wheels, and that was really my first exposure to what hunger looks like in Rutherford County.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had no idea. Like, I didn't realize that the level of hunger and the amount of struggle that was happening in houses that I would just drive right by every day. So that was my exposure to that initially. And then when I heard about this position with Second Harvest, it was like, man, I at least need to have a conversation with them. I want to learn more about what they're doing, and I just haven't looked back.
Yes.
It's my favorite job I've ever had. I work with amazing people. Not a lot of people 3.5 years into a job can still say they love everybody they work with, but I do. Like, everybody I work with is really encouraging and compassionate, and the type of things that you would expect from an organization like ours. So it's been a really great experience, and stick with it.
So nonprofits sometimes take a bad rap, and there's some bad ones out there that exploit things. As far as Second Harvest goes, I mean, it's a completely on the up and up. I mean, like, stellar reputation. What do you, when you were kind of vetting out that, going from a for-profit newspaper world, Gannett no less, right, to a nonprofit, it's a huge culture change out of that. How did you vet that out to make sure they were?
Well, the first thing that impressed me, and this can be a little more complicated than just the numbers, but the first thing that impressed me was 96 cents, actually a little over 96 cents of every dollar donated to Second Harvest goes directly to feed hungry people.
That's incredible.
So our administrative costs are less than 4%.
That's incredible.
Which is awesome. If you really get deeper into the nonprofit world, you can learn more about what all that means, and sometimes there's reasons behind somebody's number being higher or lower.
Sure.
But I don't think, as far as I know, I don't think you're going to find a better number than that. And that's something that's really important to us. That dollar equals 4 meals. We want to make sure that we're running so efficiently that every time you donate $1, we're literally getting 4 meals out to people.
Yeah.
The other thing was just the mission itself. Like I said, our mission is to feed hungry people and work to solve hunger issues in our community. So it's such a simple mission on the feed hungry people part, but it's also really complicated on kind of the logistics of how that works, and how we work with other organizations, and how we work with for-profit businesses like grocery stores and farmers and food manufacturers to get that food. So it takes a very professional mindset to make a lot of that happen.
I mean, 46 counties, that's a pretty incredible distribution network for a nonprofit with perishable items. And if you guys are focusing on produce and meat and stuff like that, I mean, that's impressive, man.
Yeah, it takes a lot of refrigerated trucks.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. I'll just say the third thing that impressed me and attracted me to Second Harvest was just the people. You can read about an organization, you can learn about their mission, but when I started meeting the people, I mean, just instantly, there were people there who took me under their wing and wanted me to succeed, and knew that, like, hey, you're coming from a whole other world where I have zero nonprofit experience. And but what I did know is I knew this community,
right?
And that was important for them was to have someone in this position who knows the community and can get out and really bang the drum for what we do. So I knew I had enough faith that like that would carry me a little bit until I could really learn more about the organization, learn more about how nonprofits work and that kind of thing. But having the journalism background, I've read every possible thing you can read and really studied up on this organization. And the more that I learn about it, the more passionate I am about what we do.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. So how would somebody get in touch with you? How would somebody, if they want to make a donation, what would they do?
You can just call me. My cell phone number is 615-585-6390. I'm on Facebook, where we are right now. I guess that would be the two best ways.
What's the number again?
615-585-6390.
And I'll put that in the comments here in just a minute.
Or you can go online, www.secondharvestmidtn.org, and that's our website. You can make a donation through
All
the
one word,
website.
Second Harvest Midtn.org.
And then the last thing is we just opened a new facility in Rutherford County about a month ago. Opened a facility out on Almaville Road, and you need to call ahead and sign up and things if you want to come out and volunteer. But for people who want to volunteer, we're starting there with 3 volunteer shifts a week. In Nashville, I believe we have like 15 or 16
Wow.
Shifts a week. So eventually we'll work our way up to more shifts, but for right now we're doing 3 2-hour shifts a week. And so what we need is people who want to come out and basically sort food. All the food that we get, there's no rhyme or reason usually to how it's thrown on the truck. It's brought to our facility, and we need people to sort the food out, box it up, and then it goes on our racks where our folks in our warehouse can get it on the trucks, and it'll go out to places like Greenhouse, Salvation Army, the ones I mentioned. So would love for anybody who wants to volunteer to come out and check that out.
Now I know that you guys do the mobile food pantry as well.
We do.
Do you have a couple of dates that maybe somebody could come volunteer at that and some locations?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, we just had one last Saturday, but big shout out to Sean Kaplan. He and his family have supported those for quite some time for us now. But we have one coming up this Saturday. If people would like to volunteer, let me know. That mobile pantry is at Smyrna Elementary and is actually being funded by the Smyrna Rotary.
Nice.
And for people who don't know what a mobile pantry is, it's where our tractor trailer will show up. We'll have about 15 to 20,000 pounds of food on it, and we'll pull into the parking lot there at Smyrna Elementary, unload the truck, and basically either set up tables or something like that. Usually tables, and we'll put all the food on it, and then people can come through, almost like a farmer's market, load up a grocery cart, and it's typically enough food for about 250 families to have 1 to 2 weeks worth of groceries.
Wow.
And so when you see it, you know, it's a lot of food that's on the truck, but then as people are coming through with grocery carts, they're getting milk and eggs and the fresh produce that I talked about. A lot of things, sometimes things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to afford. And
I volunteered at one a couple years ago, a year ago, and man, it was impressive. I mean, it was impressive and almost like surreal at the same time, because I mean there were literally just cars lined up, you know, and it really brings to light. It's really eye-opening to go, wow, this is my community, and all of these people need help with this, and it's so basic, right? And it's just feeding your body.
Exactly.
And it's something that I take for granted, you know, and yeah, it's pretty surreal. And it was interesting, you know, your description. It could be this person, it could be this person, it could be this person. They were all there. You know what I mean? You couldn't just like look at the group and go, oh yeah, there's a bunch of poor people here.
Right.
It's not like that. And it's so easy for us to, those of us that have been fortunate, those of us that have been in a position to not experience that, to kind of look down our nose sometimes, and we don't understand, you know, and we don't understand that these are normal, like, people that need help are still just normal people.
Well, and my background's journalism, not sociology or anything, so I don't know, but it is scientifically proven. I mean, the more desperate you get, the worse your decision making becomes.
Yeah.
You know, and
Survival mode.
exactly. And so what we want to try to do is get those people out of that survival mode.
Yeah.
And get back on focus on
So they can think
solving
about
the problem.
Yeah, think a little higher. We got a comment or a question. Let me read that real quick. It said, Carol Marjoram says, do you have a program or way to take food that doesn't require preparation or cooking to homeless individuals that can't come to you, or meals that can be eaten at that time, like a sandwich in a baggie, that kind of thing? Great question, Carol. Thank you.
Yes, that is a great question. I would think, so in Nashville, we actually, our leadership team, I believe once a month, don't hold me to this, it might be more frequently, but at least once a month, kind of goes down under the bridge where the homeless community is and actually serves them food.
Is that Tent City? Is that what they call it?
I think so. I don't know Nashville as well as I know Rutherford County, but
Sure.
And I think we work with one of our partner agencies to go do that. So what it would take is a partner agency that's kind of already doing things like that, that we could get them the food so that they could.
So y'all would provide the raw materials, and then another agency would be the ones to actually put wheels to it.
And sandwiches is a great thing. I've seen bananas are really effective that way because just nature has created a package for a banana.
Yeah. Full of vitamins, energy, everything. Yeah.
So we would have the types of food, Carol, that you would need to do that. We would just need the partner agency here to pull it off. And we have places like Journey Home already that are doing some things like that. And there's some others I can't mention yet because they're not a partner agency yet, but that we're working with to try to make some things like that happen.
Good things coming, in other words.
Exactly.
I love it. So, one thing that we talked about is shifting gears completely, is plugging the fish fry.
Yeah.
So Rotary Club in Smyrna every year does the fish fry. It's essentially our biggest fundraiser, and it's a great time. It's going to be September the 8th.
Yep.
What time do doors open for people to come in?
5 o'clock, I believe.
And I think dinner's served at 6. Is that right?
I think that's right.
Yep. And it's at Smyrna Airport in the big, is it Contour Airlines big hangar?
It is. The hangar that when you go in the terminal right there, make a right.
Yeah.
The big hangar.
Can't miss it. And there's a cruise-in car show type thing, which is a lot of fun. And that's, if you do the cruise-in, you get buy one get one ticket into
I didn't even know that.
I'm pretty sure that's right. If that's wrong, please don't quote me on that.
Then go just buy 2 tickets.
Then just and say that Taylor told you that. But it's a lot of fun. A lot of food vendors come out and do appetizers, and then of course the fish. And you cook every year. How many years have you been cooking?
Well, I don't. I hang out with all the cooks and test all the fish to make sure it's good.
Oh, you're quality control.
I'm a good quality
and a fish groupie.
Exactly. So no, my good buddy Tim Morrell heads up all the cooks, and but yeah, they start very early that day, getting everything rolling. And I think last few years we've had over 1,000 people there.
The number I remember from last year was like 1,600 people.
That's crazy.
And
but it's such a good time. Don't let the crowd size scare you.
We manage it well. We raised over $150,000 last year for Smyrna and Laverne mostly, but Rutherford County, and
crossed the $1 million mark total
for the fish fry program.
Well.
Yeah. And so and it's cool because all of that money, kind of what you were talking about, goes right back into the community. We do a habitat build. We support the Smyrna Laverne Food Bank. We support the library, Sam Davis Home. I'm running.
Lots of Red Cross.
Casa.
Smyrna. I'm blanking on the name, but the
Oh, Smyrna West.
Smyrna West.
Yep, we've adopted them.
Yep.
So just all kinds of organizations benefit from that money coming into the Rotary Club and then immediately being
It's amazing.
sent right back out.
Yeah, you won't. I mean, it's 100%. 100% of the profit, or 100% of the money raised, all goes right back in.
Because we get everything else donated, or people pay for it. Yeah. So it's a pretty cool deal, and that's September 8th. If you need tickets, hit me up or hit Taylor up, or go to Jenny's store, right? Gillsville, Gills Ace Hardware. They always have them. Wayne Blair. I mean, any Rotarian in Smyrna, there's over 100 of us. So hit us up. We'll get you some tickets. That'll be a lot of fun. And this year, who are we honoring? Is it Purple Heart?
Heart recipient, which I believe we have about a dozen of. Which is really cool. So if you have a Purple Heart or know someone who has a Purple Heart,
tickets free.
Tickets free. You and your family will be honored there, and let one of us know about that.
Yeah, we'll get you in touch with Carolyn on that. So very good. Anything else? I mean,
yeah. The other thing I would mention is an event right after the fish fry, the Thursday after on September 13th. An event called Charity Chopped. Shannon Wheeler, who actually spoke to our Rotary Club last week, he started this really cool event last year. This will be the second year this year. Where if you've ever seen the TV show Chopped, it's he's got 3 local celebrities and then 3 local chefs all kind of paired together, competing against each other.
Where's that going to be?
And that's at CJ's, right over. Direction are we?
Yeah, over here on Northfield.
Yeah. So at CJ's, September 13th. And the really cool thing about the way Shannon designed it is there's 3 teams and they're playing for food, clothing, and shelter. So Shannon really believes, as I do, that you got to have those fundamental things. If you don't have those, you really can't solve all the other issues that our community might have. So the food is Second Harvest. The clothing is Amelia's Closet. If you haven't talked to Jody Powers, she'd make a great interview for you. And then the shelter is Murfreesboro Rescue Mission, which Ed Grimes over there, also a great person to talk to. So we have the 3 teams that compete. And this year, my chef will be Rachel Spincatelli from Curious Kitchen, who's actually the returning champion. She won it last year.
Nice.
And she will be paired with Smyrna Mayor Mary Esther Reed.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And so when I called Mary Esther, she was like, yeah, I can't even cook SpaghettiOs. I was like, no, don't worry. We got you covered.
You just need to show up and wave.
We got you covered. Rachel is awesome. If you guys have never been to the Curious Kitchen, they're really amazing.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And then the last event I just want to let people know about is September 20th, so a week later. There's an organization that started in town called Spread the Positive. And they are a really, really cool group. And they're having a kickoff party at the warehouse on September 20th, and they're partnering with Second Harvest on that.
Where is the warehouse?
That's great.
Is that a new venue?
Becky Lanham's venue. I can't think of the exact address. But
is it here in Murfreesboro?
Yeah, it's in Murfreesboro.
Okay.
So people can find it.
Very
and then
good.
the last thing, September is Hunger Action Month. So we are always working with local restaurants and businesses to help us promote hunger awareness. And the last few years we worked with the Alley on Main, Oscars, Curious Kitchen, Maydays helped us out a lot. And so what you'll see during the month of September is, like, if you go to the Alley, they might say, hey, if you buy a meatball Sammy, we'll donate $1 of that to Second Harvest. So you buying that sandwich will provide 4 meals for somebody else.
That's awesome.
And
love
so
the Alley, by the way.
Yeah, they're just incredible. So we're looking for more businesses in the next week or 2 to kind of finalize that list of businesses. So if folks want to help out on that.
Very good, very good. All right, well, does anybody out there watching have any questions for Taylor? 2 handsome bald men sitting here drinking coffee and talking about helping folks. So if you do have any questions and you're watching this after it's live, feel free to post them, or I'm going to put Taylor's phone number in there if that's all right with you,
for sure.
and the website, and I'm also going to put those dates in there for you. So I'll put all that in the comments here in just a little bit. And man, I really appreciate it. It was cool to learn a little bit about you and a little bit about Second Harvest. And anyway, so anything else?
No, great.
What's coming for Second Harvest? You said you can't tell us, but
Oh,
I mean,
no, I mean,
tease
there's
us a little
nothing,
bit, right?
that major. I mean, our biggest announcement was the opening facility in Rutherford County. So that's been coming for 5 years probably. And so now that that facility's open, it's just going to help with a
How
lot
many
of other
distribution
things.
centers are there in those 46 counties?
So in the 46 counties, for the history of the food bank, which started in 1978, there was always one. And so what we realized was we needed to go to more of a hub and spoke model instead of just one facility.
Especially with fresh produce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of one facility serving 46 counties, we really needed to kind of bust that up into 3 service areas. So we're expanding our facility in Nashville, opening a facility in Smyrna, and then we're opening a facility in Camden, which is on the western part of our
I actually
service
know
area.
where it is.
Benton County. And so Camden will serve 14 counties, Rutherford will serve 15 counties, and then Nashville will keep the remaining 17.
That's awesome.
So that way we're going out to pick up food, bringing it right back, and then getting it back out to people, and it's a shorter distance, makes
Yeah.
it way more efficient.
Yeah. I
So
love
that's
it.
a big thing for us. But with that comes the volunteer shifts that I talked about. Really a great opportunity for people, whether your family or your church or your business, or just yourself, want to come out and get involved. It's a 2-hour volunteer shift. And the really cool thing about the volunteer shift is at the end we'll tell you, hey, you guys sorted, I think it was the first shift we did out there, they sorted like 8,500 pounds of food, and that equals like 6,700 meals.
That's
So
awesome.
when you do the math on that and you walk out of there after just 2 hours volunteering, knowing that you're going to help that many people,
You made a huge impact
yeah, you made
in
a
2 hours.
huge impact. So
That's
it's a pretty
outstanding.
cool thing.
All right, well, Taylor Loyal with Second Harvest Food Bank. I'm going to post all these dates. I'm going to post his contact info in the comments here in just a minute. Man, I really appreciate you meeting with me.
Yeah.
And you guys support Second Harvest and all the partner organizations. I'm assuming there's a list of partner organizations on y'all's website. Very good. And check out these events and come see us at the Fish Fry.
Yeah,
That'll be a lot of
definitely
fun.
fish fry.
Yeah. All right, this is Jonathan Harmon with J. Harmon Home Team signing off. Have a good day.